Vietnam is the world's second largest coffee exporter, producing mainly Robusta. But Vietnam also has Arabica, the higher quality coffee, and this is something that not many people know. Rudy van Bork, a Dutch businessman, has seen a bright future for Arabica in Vietnam. He has accompanied Vietnamese farmers.
Kinh nghiệm của ông Rudy thì ông rất là chia sẻ với chúng tôi, đôi bên hợp tác với nhau và đưa ra một cái chất lượng tốt.
Anh rất là tâm huyết hạt cà phê của Việt Nam, nỗ lực hết mình để đưa cái hạt cà phê đó ra tầm thế giới.
This is because Rudy van Bork has called Vietnam home for more than 20 years. His family is here and his love is here.
Hello and welcome to Talk Vietnam. Our talk today brought us to the ancient town of Hội An, UNESCO World Heritage Site located in Quảng Nam Province. And this is where our guest has called home for almost 20 years. And now, every day, he's working towards popularizing the Vietnamese Arabica bean to coffee lovers all over the world, including the Netherlands, his home country. And here he is with us, Mr. Rudy van Bork. Hello, good morning, Rudy. How are you today?
Xin chào. Hôm nay em khỏe. I'm fine, thank you.
And thank you so much for this coffee treat. It's very nice. Is it Arabica?
I think they served you an Arabica coffee. How was it?
It's great. It tastes great.
Yeah?
I had an Americano.
Oh, okay. Then you can reel the pure Arabica because it's not spoiled by milk or sugar.
So tell us more about the coffee business that you are working in.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Arabica. I think it's a characteristic that we implement more heavily than maybe other shops. Europe actually likes Arabica the best. Arabica is milder, has a lower caffeine content, so people can drink more coffee without getting too nervous from the caffeine.
The caffeine is just 1/3 of Robusta, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you can, if you want to load yourself with coffee, you can have 3 times more Arabica than Robusta.
Okay.
That's not only one reason. Arabica is supposed to be like a cleaner coffee because it's on a higher elevation where it grows. It's very hard to find in Vietnam. Actually, 4% of the coffee production in Vietnam is Arabica, 4. So 96% is Robusta.
Right.
So people always say, in the world market, Vietnam is number 2 in coffee, which they are. But for Robusta, Vietnam is number 1 because they have the biggest production, even bigger than Brazil. But Brazil has a lot of Arabica and Robusta and is therefore the number 1 coffee. Vietnam number 2 in the world on coffee. But again, Arabica just 4%.
Okay. So tell me, why did you choose to do Arabica?
Well, we not only do Arabica, but we started with Arabica because my nature is coming from Holland. Not that I was not a coffee lover. I didn't drink coffee before I started my business.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't drink it at all. But a close friend of mine from America came here and he said, there's no good coffee to get. And I said, that's not logic. I mean, with my logic, I visit coffee fields a few hours from here, and then there's no good coffee here. And he said, yeah, taste it, but I couldn't distinguish good coffee.
Right.
So I brought him to more places, and even the 5-star hotels, they were serving coffee from Italy, where they don't grow coffee. So those coffees came from Vietnam to Italy, back from Italy where they were roasted, to Vietnam. So you can understand, they're old by the time they're here.
Right.
So of course they don't taste very well.
Yeah.
So that was the reason to source the Arabica near here, get it here, and roast it our way. And I say our way, we had a lot of research to find the right roast, because a roast is a recipe. You can fry a steak at home, you can do it medium rare, well done.
Yeah.
But with coffee it's the same thing.
Right.
So we find out the way that most customers that we have serving here like it. And we found out after years that actually that was this market, so the demography of people that visit Hội An as a tourist.
Okay.
But when we start selling coffee to my homeland, the Netherlands, they say, actually it's quite light. But that's because they're the people that come here and on average like it. So we had to do one grade longer and stronger roast for the Arabica for the Dutch market.
For the Dutch
But the Koreans, they have another idea again, and they want to have a little bit lighter, but they want the Robusta stronger. So every nation, country, area have their preferences.
Right.
Not even Vietnamese.
So you developed your brand first to serve the tourists here,
Yeah.
visiting Hoi An.
Yeah.
And then when did you think of exporting the coffee to other countries and your home country?
Yeah, that was, we made a plan at the start. We said after 5 years, we supposed to know what we're doing. So then we feel confident to go into the world. Whatever way, wholesale, retail, franchise. But after 3 years already, instead of 5 years, a Korean group came to us and they visited several times. We negotiated and we made a master franchise agreement, and they agreed to open 3 shops, small, medium and large. And they did as planned within 1.5 years. And they were very successful opening. And now even just 2 months after the COVID pandemic is kind of, slowing down, they are very profitable and make a program to sub-franchise. So they want to open 150 shops all over South Korea and show their 3 small, medium and large size coffee shops as a sample how it might work, do the feasibility study and advise how to go. So that was Korea. And then when the pandemic struck, I went to Holland for a while and I met several investors and we agreed on a master franchise with 2 businessmen in Amsterdam. They want to open 8 shops in Amsterdam first, then do wholesale and retail. And because of the pandemic and the limitation of opening hours for coffee shops in the last 2 years, they started with wholesale and retail. And that was good because we had a chance to export Arabica, which is the main drunken coffee in the Netherlands, to export to the Netherlands through them. So 60% of our production with our farmers last year, we luckily could ship to the Netherlands. We started with the concept of the name, Hoi An Roastery, the colors, from green bean to brown bean, and then the red berries.
Yeah.
So those 3 colors reflect in the coffee bags that we sell a lot to customers. So customers come to drink a cup of coffee. And after that, often they bring coffee home because we have grounded coffee, we have beans coffee, so there's all choices for them. And it's quite light for in the luggage. So they bring it home to their country. And every day we get orders from all over the world. I mean, I have had countries I never heard before. Macedonia and Uruguay, and countries I never had before. And they ordered some. I had one guy from Iceland. I thought they were only living in ice and in Eskimo houses and stuff. And they ordered 40 kilos.
Yeah.
Can you make an espresso to check if the espresso is working well?
Rudy van Bork and a friend opened Hoi An Roastery in 2015 to spread the word about the wonderful Vietnamese coffee and coffee culture. The roastery uses a 100% Arabica blend, which is the world's most popular coffee bean, a 100% Robusta blend to make traditional Vietnamese filter coffee drinks, and an espresso blend. Their drink range offers visitors to Hoi An a chance to taste locally grown coffee.
I ordered the pour-over coffee, which Arabica, I think it is. The taste is, to me, it's a little bit light and just a tiny hint of lemon, sour.
Yeah, the first thing that we look, I like the atmosphere. It looks comfy, it's really nice. I'll mix it with a little bit of culture and things like that. This is beautiful. What thing I order? I think ice blend coffee with caramel. Yeah, I quite like it. Yeah, the drink is make me refreshing.
Hoi An Roastery also creates jobs for local people, including the children of Guangxi coffee farmers. The staff here are taken care of and given accommodation. They're trained to communicate with and serve their customers well, through which they often tell the story behind each cup of coffee.
Về phần nhân viên thì Rudy luôn luôn có những cái chương trình dành cho những nhân viên xuất sắc để cho tất cả các bạn phấn đấu. Sau một thời gian làm việc với Rudy thì Rudy là một người rất là quan tâm tới mọi người. Đâu hay là như thế nào, Rudy là người hỏi thăm và chia sẻ cái nỗi khó khăn đó với những nhân viên đó. Và lúc mà Rudy tới quán thì có một số thứ nó không có được gọn gàng hay gì đó, thì Rudy rất là nhẹ nhàng và cười và chỉ bảo là cho mọi người làm nó kỹ và nó ổn định hơn.
We did so with a high level of integrity, with quality in our relationships, not only in having the coffee be at a level we were hoping and consistent, but growing and impacting in ways other than just buy coffee. How about we can build a school or a park or a water well or all these other things that came out of just wanting to support those ethnic minority regions, building a heart for the Vietnamese farmer community and trying to make that a sustainable, profitable, growth-oriented, value-oriented business was an amazing achievement.
Oh, that's a wonderful story. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. It's so funny.
Yeah. I want to touch on the technique a little bit. How did you find the perfect blend for the coffee here at Hội An Roastery and also for export?
Yeah, and 8 years ago, and I was seeking for a kayak instructor. And an American guy, he was traveling here and there, some months here, some in. His name was Ben Miller, and we talked. He was a Q grader. A Q grader, Q stands for quality.
Okay.
And he did a very high university degree on coffee.
Right.
He knows everything from the seed of the plant to the tree and the berries, the time to harvest, how to roast it, how to process, and all the way to the barista and making the cup of coffee. I was like flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And then he said, can we forget about the coffee and can I help you with the coffee? And I said, yes, please. So I had a house in Haibatjung near here, 4 stories luckily, because we slept on the 3rd and the 4th story, because in the morning he was roasting coffee like hours and hours and hours. And he did 25 to 50 cups per day, tasting, spitting it out, and another one, roast longer, roast shorter, coffee from Lam Dong, coffee from Quang Chi, coffee from everywhere. And he created, on my request, 3 blends. A 100% Arabica, a 100% Robusta, and a blended espresso, which is a blend of Arabica and Robusta. Yeah, so we let him work on that for 4 months.
Yeah.
And then he created the right blend on which coffees to mix and the right roast. Then you have the right size.
Is it very difficult for the sourcing of coffee in Vietnam, and how have you dealt with it?
Yeah. In the beginning, we used like wholesalers, traders. That's the easy way to go because they have the knowledge. We didn't have it yet. So we had mainly Lam Dong suppliers. And then I met people again that I knew for 20 years. Because 20 years ago I went on it's not a push bike, but it's a scooter the children have, on a sidewalk. And one feet, the scooter like this.
My daughter
but I had
plays
a big one. And I went from Sapa all the way to Cambodia and back to Saigon.
Kick bike?
It's called a kick bike, about 2,500 kilometers, to raise awareness for the Medical Committee Netherlands Vietnam, MCNV. And they told me everything about a big group of farmers they support in a livelihood. And they did do that in an area with 5,000 Arabica farmers. So they introduced us and we start focusing on a group of about 20 farm groups to supply our Arabica instead of the Arabica from Lam Dong. And then we made a program to let them supply the coffee to us as we wish. Because we want that the coffee is hand-picked. So they only take, these are unripe, but only the ripe beans. So they are red like this shot.
Right.
When they're red like that, they take the beans out. And the rest they leave on the tree. And then a week or 10 days later, the other ones became red. And they take them. So 3-4 times in a season, they pick the berries. While normally, in a normal way, they strip all the berries, but 40% is not ripe. So the average taste or the average ripeness of the beans is not fully grown. Which we didn't want. We want
and
to
to
have
taste
a
good,
coffee.
the beans must be ripe, right?
Yeah, for the best taste.
For the best taste.
Yeah, it's an unripe apple is sour and not nice. A ripe apple is nice and sweet. The same with coffee. So we taught them how to handpick, but then you come in the cycle of actually you can take care of your trees better by trimming them better and fertilizing them better and give them water at the right time of day, because we find out they give them water in the middle of the day, in the middle of the sun. The water vaporized even before it can go into the soil. In the cooperation with MCNV on the farmers to train them, improve the quality of the coffee and even the yield, the amount of coffee that comes from the trees, to get it improved.
You met a person from MCNV and then another journey with them and yielded into a great success. So, well, thank you for telling us the role of MCNV in your business. I really want to visit the farm that you are working with MCNV and the local farmers. So would you introduce us there?
Yes, I will bring your whole team and you can see from A to Z what we do with the farmers and what I just mentioned.
Talk Vietnam crew joined Rudy van Bork on a trip to a coffee farm in Quảng Trị province to learn how people's lives had changed thanks to the coffee supply chain development project that Hội An Roastery is the member of.
So right now I am in Sari village, Hướng Phùng commune. This is the coffee plantation. So Rudy, can you show me around?
Yeah, I can show you. Before we go, please be careful because we have some new crop. You see here the young coffee plant that we grow in between. So in the next year, they will have their first harvest. So we have to be careful when we walk to some of the trees.
Cool.
Let me show you.
I just follow you. So,
this is one of the trees we have here. This is Arabica.
So how big is the scale of this farm? How many trees?
So this farm has 1.5 hectare, about this farm. We work with 52 farmers at the moment, which have an average of 1 hectare each. And a hectare brings about between 4 and 15,000 kilos of berries. So then we're talking about the coffee berry.
So this is the coffee berry?
This is the coffee berry, and this is not ripe. It will be ripe in October, November. We need about 6 to 7 kilos of berries to have 1 kilo of beans. There's a lot of berries, and they did a calculation actually that you need 80 berries for 1 cup of coffee.
Wow, good to know. So how effective is the production method here?
So we came here to help them to increase their yield, and there are many, many different ways. One of the ways is what you see here behind me. So this is a tree, it's a timber tree we grow. Beside that, the timber tree, they can have timber wood every 7 years. We also grow pepper. So here you'll see this is a young pepper. So the pepper will grow on this one. So they have and timber and pepper. And this system actually protects this tree. So when there is a lot of sun, then there's a lot of rain. This tree protects this tree.
It's like umbrella.
And like an umbrella. If this tree is not there, and there's a lot of sun, and there's a lot of rain, which takes place just before the harvest season. So it's very critical when they're almost ripe. So when we protect it by a tree like this, they can ripen in a very healthy way and stay on the tree.
So that's one example of the quality improvement that you help introduce to the local farmers here.
Fertilization is very important. So they fertilized before 1 time a year. Now we fertilize 2 times per year. That is another method. Third method is that the trimming. If we don't trim it, it will go wild, and we have a lot of small beans which generate a worse coffee. I mean, not that good quality of coffee. So this tree is all very, very healthy. You can see it on the leaves. There's no snails, no other animals that affect the trees. And then by the time 60-65% is ripe, they strip the coffee like this. They strip all the coffee down, and they have a mat under. But we pay a premium for the coffee farmers to handpick. The harvest they got 100% ripe beans.
So it seems like more work, more labor work, but actually better quality and more effective that way.
To compensate, we pay a much higher price than the market price. So
Rudy has also shared with us many interesting facts about this land. We could see how proud he was about what he and his partners have achieved in coordination with local people over the past 4 years.
So Rudy, thank you for taking us there. It was an amazing trip. And from the conversation that I had with the local farmers, I knew that COVID-19 has a tremendous impact on their livelihood. So how were things before COVID? And how are things now?
Yeah, that was very tough because Hoi An was shut down on 15th of March 2020, which means that also international flights were dropped and there was nobody in Hoi An. And we had 11 stores. Give you a number, in 2019 we served 1,050,000 cups of coffee in our 11 stores.
Yeah.
That's an amazing amount of coffee. And then we sold 800,000 coffee bags, 250-gram bags of coffee. So all that coffee came from those farmers. And now we had a problem that by the harvest of 2020, which is November, December, we had no order to place.
Right.
So we had to sit down with them. We had some small cash to give them a compensation of what they have missed for that year. And they just stripped the coffee and sold it for the market price instead of a premium to us, to the big companies as always. Then I went to Holland, as I told you, and I wanted to find a solution to not let that happen in 2021. So I found and negotiated with the Dutch entrepreneurs. I told you, the two people in Amsterdam, that says, okay, we understand your story. We are very affected to this. Let us help you as well. So Korea pre-ordered more, which increased the amount of coffee. We could not open here, unfortunately, yet. Amsterdam, we made a plan for Amsterdam. I helped them to get some wholesale customers. So there already we get some movement of coffee. And finally, we placed an order in 2021, which was even bigger than 2019.
Before COVID?
Yeah, so we continued the growth of the 3 years that we're growing in the 5th year, skipping the 4th year. And now we are preparing for the next year, which will even be a 3 times increase of any years before.
Right, it's a bigger comeback for sure.
Yeah, so that's important because that's important for the continuation of the farmers, which changed their life.
When visiting Chixue Cafe, a lush green space in the middle of a mountainous town, people can enjoy delicious cups of Arabica coffee brewed by the owner himself, Ling of Ching. Ching opened this cafe 2 years ago. It's a place for visitors to Guangxi to taste locally grown Arabica coffee.
So, how is the business recently?
Bữa nay vẫn trở lại bình thường.
Ching has processed coffee for Hoi An Roastery for 4 years as part of a sustainable supply chain development program in Hướng Phùng Commune, Hướng Hóa District, Quảng Trị Province. Ching and many local people have earned better incomes and had a better life thanks to the program.
Để một cái chất lượng tốt thì chúng tôi phải liên kết cả 3 bên, được sự chính quyền hỗ trợ và người nông dân đồng thuận, và ở Hội An Roastery sẽ bao tiêu sản phẩm. Là người nông dân họ khỏi phải lo về câu chuyện giá, mà họ chỉ biết làm như thế nào để vườn cà phê cho đạt chất lượng theo mong đợi của bên công ty.
Right next to Ching's Cafe is a processing workshop with all the necessary equipment. The workshop processes 10 to 15 tons of coffee per year to deliver to Hoi An Roastery. Ching is responsible for purchasing coffee berries at the right time and on the right day, and choosing beans that are up to standard.
Bên tôi là nhiệm vụ là thu mua và chế biến chất lượng tốt. Qua quá trình làm việc thì cũng tin tưởng nhau và người nông dân cũng rất là phấn khởi. Cái kinh nghiệm của ông Rudy thì ông rất là chia sẻ với chúng tôi. Đôi bên hợp tác với nhau và đưa ra một cái chất lượng tốt. Trong quá trình tôi lên đây làm cà phê 20 năm thì tôi cũng thất bại rất lớn về cà phê. Nhưng mà tôi quá yêu nghề cà phê và yêu mảnh đất này. Tôi quyết tâm và đồng lòng cùng Rudy và người nông dân để làm ra một sản phẩm tốt, để ra được một ly cà phê và một cái chất lượng tốt cho xã hội.
This is a question about the finding an outlet for Vietnamese Arabica and Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah.
Did you find it very challenging to find an outlet for Vietnamese Arabica?
It's difficult. Vietnamese, they really like their coffee strong. I mean, go 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, any street in Vietnam, at least a few coffee shops are open. Strong coffee is Robusta. It's cheap. Yeah, there's a lot of it. 96% of the production is Robusta. It's cheap. They drink it pure. So then if you want to teach them or use Arabica bean, no, it doesn't work. But slowly, the espresso blends became popular. Americano, cappuccino, latte, these kind of coffees that you make with an American as well, but Italian espresso machine. For that, you use a blend of Robusta and Arabica. So automatically, the Arabica production was required to make an espresso blend. And there, we could sneak in the Arabica into even the Vietnamese market.
Right.
Yeah. So that is the way we went there. Then, of course, we have the European and American market. They just want 100% Arabica as well. Yeah, and that is a growing market. And luckily, there's a movement now, when we go back to the farmers, that also we motivate them that when trees are getting too old or the soil is too exhausted, to replace them by healthy, strong Arabica trees that can grow more berries, so they can increase their Arabica production. Plus, we improve or we motivate the Robusta farmers in Lam Dong and other areas where we get the Robusta from to replant when they are higher elevation with Arabica.
I see.
So that we not have 4% Arabica production in Vietnam, but maybe 10 in 5 years.
Right. But do you think doing Arabica in Vietnam is like focusing on a niche market, because the percentage right now is still very low and the Vietnamese Arabica is still not known yet in the world?
Yeah. And maybe niche is not the right word for this, sorry to say, but I studied marketing. For me, niche is like a very potential market.
Yeah.
With a specific product which is in a low quantity. Okay. So we match a lot of things. Arabica, low quantity. It's in demand, but not in this market. So it's not a niche for Vietnam, but it's a niche for other markets outside of Vietnam. So there, yes, we promote it in a niche market to get it popularized by making the coffee we do and bringing it to the market with the story of hand-picking. They start to understand how it works. And now we're talking with big companies. I cannot mention names, but in Europe we talk about, companies that have 10, 20,000 staff and have a lot of coffee machines in their canteen and offices that now talk with us as the last 1 or 2 suppliers to choose from to buy the Arabica. When we are in there, of course, we get free publicity, and then this niche market will grow, and the popularity of the coffees will grow.
Huong Phùng is a remote mountainous commune in Hướng Hóa District, Quảng Trị Province. This land is rich in basalt and is famous for Arabica coffee. Arabica, grown in Huong Phùng, is exceptionally fragrant and delicious. To help the Bru Vân Kiều ethnic group harness the potential of coffee trees, Hội An Roastery has cooperated with the Medical Committee Netherlands, Vietnam, to launch a project titled Developing a Sustainable Agroforestry Coffee Supply Chain. The project has helped dozens of Bru Vân Kiều households in Huong Phùng grow coffee sustainably.
Hồi trước thì khi mà năm chưa tham gia vào cái cà phê liên kết này thì mình luôn luôn nhập ngoài thì là cái giá thị trường thì nó rất bấp bênh, không ổn định. Các cái thương lái là đôi khi là họ ép giá. 4 năm này thì đã có cái chuỗi liên kết trong là nhà máy thì gần, mà giá mình nhập thì cao lên 3 giá ngoài giá thị trường. Cái đường xá, thứ hai là nhập vào đúng giao dịch, chứ không chờ giống hồi xưa phải chờ đến tầm cỡ 3-4 giờ sáng hoặc là 12 giờ mới được nhập cà phê.
Từ năm 2019, thông qua các cái mối mạng lưới doanh nghiệp, thì MCV đã hỗ trợ kết nối doanh nghiệp Hội An Roastery liên kết với đơn vị sơ chế tại địa phương và các nhóm nông dân ở xã Hưng Phùng. Thì trong cái quá trình mà hỗ trợ cái chuỗi giá trị này, họp các nhóm nông dân để xây dựng và thương thảo hợp đồng chất lượng vườn cà phê, kiểm soát cái quá trình nhập cà phê, phân loại chất lượng cà phê.
Nhận được hỗ trợ từ ông Rudy trong quá trình hợp tác thì cụ thể thì hỗ trợ được về cái giá bán, giá bán của cà phê tươi, tiền vận chuyển đến nhà máy và được sự liên kết với doanh nghiệp mà mình có thể nhập ổn định hơn.
Cà phê rớt chạm đấy về sự là 4.000 một ký cà phê. Năm vừa rồi đấy thì 18.000 một ký. Thì người nông dân rất là phấn khởi. Bây giờ chương trình mà làm ca chất lượng tốt này thì hầu như họ tham gia rất là nhiều.
Stable incomes and comprehensive training in coffee growing and caring techniques have given farmers so much joy. This also means an economic shift for the locality and a chance for Guangxi Arabica to go further in the world.
You study marketing, so how did you apply the knowledge of marketing in promoting your brand and also the Vietnamese Arabica?
Yeah, I studied marketing in the Netherlands. So I always had an interest in it. And then it came to the case that now I had to market it. Mm-hmm. So it started with the concept. Because concept is part of marketing. So the concept of the store, concept of the coffee bags, concept of our colors, our principles, the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals that we aim for, all integrated. That we use as a marketing tool. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, we have unique selling points, USPs, they call it in marketing, which are that we work with ethnic minorities. Another very important thing is that we pay them directly. How can we pay them? Every farmer, one by one, because at the moment we deal with 52 farmer families, so we can still deal with it. But we build a model so efficiently that if we have 5,000 farmers, we can still pay them directly. Yeah. Why is this so important? Because in Western countries, now they look at fair trade. Mm-hmm. Fair trade is meaning you buy my coffee by a middleman. And he should be fairly paid, not overpriced. Okay. So, but when we get them out, you and I can share what was paid to the middleman to have his position. Mm-hmm. And now you are the farmer and I am the buyer, so I pay you your fee and you get it 100%. So no middleman. So that is always better for all parties, and it's fair. So we have all it documented. We made a QR code that we can put on the package, mm-hmm. that people can trace and look in Netherlands or in Germany, wherever they are.
So what's next for Hội An Roastery?
We have big plans. We are talking now with two big groups from Saigon that have found us and have a big interest in our company. It's proven that the concept of a Hội An Roastery with the design, the architecture, the presentation, the menu, the coffees, and the Vietnamese coffees, egg coffee, café Suada, 60% of our sales work there as well. So knowing that, they invited us to become programmed in a franchise expansion around the world. And they have a plan with us to promote our brand and open Hội An Roastery shops, if possible, in every country. Mm. So that will be a long-term commitment, maybe 5 to 10 years at least to do that. We start with a shop in Tao Dinh, in Ho Chi Minh City, a very popular area with a lot of restaurants and coffee shops already, but it doesn't matter. We distinguish ourselves with our unique selling points. We just mentioned the marketing items. Yeah. So they start a first franchise shop in Tao Dinh, and then we will expand through them. So the expansion plans are Hội An Roastery goes to the world.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Though he is quite busy with his business of developing a store chain supplying Arabica beans, Rudy van Bork always finds time for his small family. He enjoys moments of happiness in which he relaxes and enjoys Vietnamese food like stir-fried morning glory and fried rice with his family members. Thanks to these meals, Rudy loves Vietnam even more. His family gives him so much love.
Vợ chồng tôi gặp nhau ở Sài Gòn, rồi cái duyên đưa đẩy là đến sống ở Hội An được 12 năm. Gia đình tôi thì có 12 người con, 9 người con gái với 3 người con trai. Trong đó là Rudy là người con rể mà gọi là được mọi người yêu quý nhất. Tại vì Rudy cũng thích món ăn Việt, hòa đồng với mọi người về cái phong tục của Việt Nam mình.
Anh Rudy là một người anh rất là quan tâm tới những thành viên trong gia đình. Những cái sự kiện lớn trong nhà thì anh Rudy luôn luôn có mặt. Anh Rudy như là người con thứ 13 của bố mẹ tôi.
So now let's talk a little bit about your family and the reason why you chose to live in Hội An.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. And I know that you live with a big family of your wife, right? So
Yeah.
is there any reason for that?
In Vietnam, you not marry a person. You marry a whole family. So I marry a family with 12 brothers and sisters-in-law.
That's a big
And
family.
before I even get engaged, my father-in-law gave me homework. I had to name all full names of 12 brothers and sisters, and then the 50 siblings and children and related children of them before I could even engage. So I had a lot of homework because I'm good in numbers, but I'm not so good in names. So I succeeded and I passed the test, and I'm very lucky with them because they're very entrepreneurial, which is, you know, a sense that I have myself. They have it. They are in all kind of industries, in textile, trade, bakery shops, and all kind of trade, where we can support each other. It is a very warm family, very supportive family. Everybody is always supporting each other. So somebody opens a new shop, half of the family coming there for the first 2 weeks and help. Another shop opens. So all over the country we have maybe 15, 16 enterprises all related to our family members.
Yeah.
So also when we grew from 1 to 11 shops in 18 months, there was a time that we almost opened a new shop in every corner of the street in Hội An.
Yeah.
Every month.
Yeah.
We needed that support as well. And I'm lucky, like I said, they're all entrepreneurial, same mindset, no negativity, all positive, and we go for it. And that's my spirit as well.
So with the experience you have with the family of your wife, how can you say about the entrepreneurial spirit of Vietnamese people?
I knew the numbers in Holland reach up to 20,000 Vietnamese working and living in Holland for a long time. And what appears? All Vietnamese in Holland contribute to the economy by entrepreneurship. And honestly speaking, when you have all those migrants from all those 15, 20 different countries, the Vietnamese speak the best Dutch. Because when they are committed to be an entrepreneur in Holland, they will learn what they do well, and they will speak the language where they are. So that is a very adaptive nature of Vietnamese to educate themselves the language where they want to be a good entrepreneur as well. So they're very much respected.
Right.
And then I come here in Vietnam and I recognize this entrepreneurship is in the blood of the Vietnamese. And you go to any city, any village, the ground floor, basement housing are often shops. Even small mini markets, hair salons, nail salons, name it. It's all entrepreneurship, and the people live behind or on top of it.
Right.
In here we have, you cannot imagine, we have 80,000 people, but we have over 800 tailoring shops. And how do they do that? In the front of their house they have a tailoring shop, they have a curtain, and behind that there's grandfather, grandmother, and everybody living there. And in the night they shut the shutters, and it's finished. And in the morning they open, and they are a tailoring shop. Very entrepreneurial.
SMEs and this super small.
Yeah,
size
yeah, almost XSMEs, extra small medium enterprises.
Yeah, yeah.
Rudy was working in the banking industry in the Netherlands in 2010, but he decided to embark on a kickbiking trip across Vietnam, a country he loves, to raise funds for Vietnamese people living in poverty. he lost 21 kilograms during the 27-day trip. In 2013, he was the first person to swim a record length of 25 kilometers from Cù Lao Chàm Island to Cửa Đại Beach to raise funds for poor children during the Monster Swim Week. And now, in addition to his coffee business, Rudy van Bork also joins social works such as an MCNV program to build hygienic wells from which Sari residents can get fresh water for their daily activities.
Nước sạch bên dự án cho đấy, 1 năm rồi.
Sau khi có nước sạch chị cảm thấy như thế nào?
Thoải mái.
Thoải mái hơn chứ?
Thoải mái hơn. Cả nước mạch nhiều.
Thì trước khi mà chưa có cái hệ thống nước này thì mình phải lấy nước ở đâu?
Trước khi chưa có nước đây là chị đi hoặc là khoảng 2 cây số đi múc nước suối. Đừng lại về dưới là mình đổ ra, về lọc lại về xong về uống. Còn nước ở toàn bán vì nước suối là nhiều cái đục với đặt đai nhiều bùn chi nhiều.
The well dug in Hồ Thị Hải house also supplies 12 neighboring households with fresh water every day. They no longer have to travel a long distance or have stomach problems due to drinking stream water. This is thanks to Rudy van Bork's contribution to the community.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about your efforts to help people, starting very early, 20 years ago with the kickbike trip and then with the swimming project. So tell us what motivated you to commit in such kind of activities. And I think you are a man of action, so whenever you have an idea, you would come and just execute it. And, and think about the local, right?
Yes.
Yeah, always put the benefits of the local in mind.
Yeah. Especially the ones in need. I mean, there are a lot of people now more and more that they are self-sufficient. They don't need any need, but there are still so many people that really need not only financial support. I learned from MCNV, talking about MCNV, their approach, an NGO from Holland, 52 years ago, they started at the attic of a house, getting medicine, shipped them to Vietnam, and gave them. But then very quickly the Vietnamese hospitals and medical people, they said, oh wait, nice, thank you. But actually we don't need money, we don't need medicine, we can buy it ourselves. Can you teach us? Mm-hmm. And then MCNV start to make crews on eye doctors, internists, get malaria and dengue fever out of the country to reduce sickness and so on and so on. So I learned from that when you teach people how to do it themselves, after that they don't need the help anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like that, and that's the way I want to support the people here as well. So the farmers, we teach them how to do it, then they can do it by themselves, and they have a better life, better economy. Mm-hmm. And with all people related. Like the children here, I motivate them to learn how to swim. Mm-hmm. So Swim Vietnam offers them free swimming lessons. Mm-hmm. Because here every year we have flood.
Right.
So children die because of the flood, they panic. But when you learn how to swim, you feel confident, you're not panic. So then you can swim and get yourself to a safe place. Yeah. So this is the way now we start to think. Mm-hmm. Help the people manage themselves to survive. Swimming, growing coffee.
Economically. We are now at the end of our program. Would you like to say anything to the audience?
I hope that the people that watching your program, that they also learn something from what we experience here, and I experienced myself personally in Vietnam, and how we are adapted, warm welcomed in the country, adapted in the country, are able to do our business, support a lot of people, and I hope I motivated a lot of people to do so and encourage them to do it more and more.
Well, thank you so much, and I know that your story and your love for Vietnam would inspire many other people, and also your entrepreneurial spirit as well. So thank you so much for your business here and for giving us an example of how we can achieve success, future success for Vietnamese Arabica.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So the message of Rudy has brought us to the end of Talk Vietnam. I hope that you enjoyed the program, and thank you so much. We'll see you in another episode. Goodbye for now.